Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 16. We have determined that this is episode 16 of Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets. Look at that high-end graphics there, Bob.
That's amazing. That looks like CGI. Wow.
Look here, let me do a little. Look at
Oh
that.
man, that's
Look at that.
insane. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's
Maybe
the kind
this
of editing and effects you do in this series, right?
I don't want should be a trigger warning for motion sickness.
Yeah, I'm gonna vomit, but that's normal.
All right, I'm Matt Ryan, and I'm joined with my good friend and fellow host Bob Geis. And Bob, I was thinking if somebody happened on this now, like just this episode, without seeing any of the stuff beforehand, they'd be lost.
That's true. Some of our viewers who are viewing the entire series may be lost, as are we.
You're like walking through a minefield. Oh, you've missed so many gems, folks. There's no way you could go back and like binge watch all of our episodes. You just couldn't do it. We're up to 16 now.
I think somebody should try to binge watch them and see what happens.
See what happens. Their head would swell. We watched Cronenberg's The Fly last night because my beautiful wife had never seen the film.
That's a good one.
It's quite disturbing.
It's good stuff. Cronenberg has some good stuff.
It's true. It's true. Bob, where are you in your Indianapolis team?
Fantastic. I'm so excited. Tonight we're playing. Tonight's the big night. And the Indianapolis team is getting ready to leave New York for London. Now, again, just as a warning to any new viewers, there's spoilers. Spoilers everywhere. Spoilers everywhere. So
I could write that. Maybe I'll write that on the other side of this envelope. Spoilers.
Yep. There you go. So our team getting ready to leave New York and go to England, right? So this is a very, very exciting session, very special session because now Matt, your group is large and has a lot of players. Mine is small, right? And so we've had a situation where we had one of our key players be unable to attend and it caused the session to be canceled. So I am doing the radical move of bringing in another player today. There's another player. One of the U2 and Cthulhu GMs will be joining us in this campaign. So
permanent addition. This is a permanent addition.
Permanent addition. Yes, yes. So this is going to be crazy. He's joining just as they're leaving New York. So that fine young man is going to be drinking for a fire hose to get caught up on all the crazy stuff that's happened up to this point.
Is this a team member that I know?
Yeah. This is Perry. Great guy. And if there's anybody who can do it, it's him. He's super sharp. He'll be able to catch up, and you'll never know if he doesn't because he'll be able to play it off like he's perfect. So it's no worries there.
And this moved you to 6. Is that correct? 6 players?
6 players, yes. So we have a good, stable, strong dynamic at this point. So if somebody's out, we can go on. The show will go on.
That's good. Yes, you're getting into Ryan territory there. I like 8 people.
Yep, that's a lot. That's a lot. I don't know if I have enough chairs.
Oh, we don't. When I'm at 7 players plus me, we're at maximum capacity in the dining room. It's an adventure trying to get to the front door to walk the dog who's standing there quivering with her legs crossed, and I'm trying to. Anyways.
Yep, I get it. No, it's going to be fantastic.
All right, so this is a catch up. Perry catches up, and it's an interlude, right? You're doing the interlude stuff from New York to England.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be an interlude, more so than perhaps I even wanted it to be, because if you recall last time when they were in New York, one of the very last things they did was speak with Erica Carlisle, and they got a bunch of mythos tomes. So opening up the book here to page 222, which is where it talks about how to administer those rules, right? I'll be consulting this and going through that with these guys and brushing up on my knowledge of the rules and how those will play. Because again, they'll want to dig into those books. So there's going to be the sailing across the sea.
No, I had to do that as well. Yeah, I had to do that as well.
And they also got beat up. They got beat up bad in the Juju house, so they will need to do some healing.
Now, I know you like rules as written. I know that's the way you like to roll. That's a pretty slow healing process. You're going to give them some time?
Well, again, I'll have to look and see what it says that the ocean voyage is going to be, but they do have a medical doctor there amongst them who could administer care. But I'm going to have to fast track that because again, it doesn't. There's going to be there are certain things that in a in a home game are okay, right? But in a campaign like we're doing with Masks, the timeline is tighter, right? So we're gonna have to be a little bit more, fast and loose with those healing
Yeah.
rules and the mythos tomes consumption rules than if it was a home game where you could say there could be years between adventures, right?
Sure. Well, I mean, the timeline, the countdown in Masks is a year.
Yeah,
The big ritual doesn't happen for a year. So they could, I told my players, as far as you know, there's no countdown.
yeah. Well,
But
again,
again,
my guys got the clock. They got the clock,
they got
so
the
that they
clock.
know
That's
that the
pretty cool.
timekeeping is at least important, but they don't know, they don't know the timeline, right? But they know that the timekeeping is important.
So how much you only play for 2 hours? How much time are you going to get in England?
I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I'm stepping things up a little bit because the kid's class is over, so he's going to be able to get here early, right?
Well,
We'll
there'll
be
be
able to
more pizza for the kid.
get
Viewers,
more.
you may not know this at home, but Bob buys pizza for his group.
That's right. Dinner is provided at the Geis household for my gaming sessions, right? Sometimes I cook, sometimes it's pizza. Tonight is
Wow.
pizza.
Wow.
So we're going to hit their door running. Perry's going to get here at 6. We're going to spend probably 6 to 7 while we're eating pizza, catching Perry up on what's going on. I'll make sure he washes his hands so he doesn't get his little greasy paws all over my beautiful, beautiful props. Right?
Oh,
Because
yeah,
that's
the
a real thing.
props. Yeah, the
That's a real
prop.
thing. That's a
Yep,
real thing.
we've got, look at this prop here. This has gone around the neighborhood now, this baby, because it's
Oh
so
yeah,
pretty. The evidence folder. The
it's
evidence folder,
nice.
because this has gone around from household to household here in beautiful Ithaca, New York. I've got to make Houston more important than he is in the campaign.
Yeah, no, I agree. These props are interesting in that they add emphasis to people and situations that may have been glossed over in another version of Masks,
Well,
right?
we'll
It's
we'll
interesting.
we'll talk about big story arc in another episode.
That's right.
Um, when I'm planning out the evening, Bob, remember
Hmm.
I'm from a TV background. I've got 3 hours. So
Yep.
in my notes, right, in my copious notes here in the Journal of Matt, I try to figure out where I'm going to be an hour in and 2 hours in. I mean,
Okay.
that's kind of how I try to pace it to see if I'm on mark. I'm
Hmm.
often wrong with how long it takes players to do things.
Yep. That's a real thing.
I have players who like to they like to dither and they don't know which decision to make. And to be fair, Masks offers several decisions.
Yep.
Do we do this or do we do this? It's a lot more sandboxy than maybe some other campaigns might be, especially early in a chapter.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. You don't know. I have no idea where they're headed, right? Again, and I mean, really, with London, especially, in New York where they're going to get the dump of clues. It's going to be in room 410.
Yeah.
In London, I don't know where their first step is. Are they going to go to the Scoop? Or are they going to go to the Penhew Foundation? I don't know. And so, we'll see where they lead us, where they lead me.
They'll go to the last place you mentioned. That's where they'll go.
You think?
I do. If the last thing you say is, if the
Oh yeah, I see what you
publisher
mean.
from New York calls them up and says, "Hey, say hi to my friend Mickey at the Scoop," boom.
Yep.
So where do you
Yep.
go? Well, we get a hotel and we go to the Scoop.
That's right. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going. I'm going to, but they'll be going through that whole recap with Perry. So it would be pointless for me to anticipate where they'll go. I'll have to
Yeah.
adapt very quickly, which is fine. That's the fantastic thing about this game.
It is pretty easy to adapt. It is pretty easy
Hmm.
to adapt. I've got to now in New York at the Ithaca team. We're right on the cusp of terror.
Yeah.
I've got 6 players coming. I had 6 2 weeks ago. 4 of those investigators, they're just about to descend into the secret room in the Penhew Foundation.
Nice.
And The other two investigators are sitting having cocktails at the Blue Pyramid with Gavigan's personal secretary, Kinnery. I think that's the
Wow.
dude's name. Kinnery.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
kind of struck up a friendship with Kinnery, friendship that may lead to something more.
Interesting, because that dude was a cold fish in the book as written.
Well, I've made him a little more. I made him a little more. Personable is the wrong word to use, but interactive. I've made him more
I
interactive.
gotcha. I gotcha.
Because remember, Gavigan is just a stooge.
Yep.
Like he
Yep.
is just a stooge. So so they're both in very vulnerable spots. And here's what I think I'm going to do with both of them, because my players still are better at reacting to things than initiating action. They're reluctant to make a decision, as we said before. So I don't always know what they're going to do, but they respond very well when shit happens to them. We're past the 6-minute mark, kids at home. So the cursing is going to start.
Fuck yeah.
Here's what I'm thinking. We talked about the thing in the fog, and you're not crazy about the thing in the fog.
Yeah. I am now that I have more players.
Well, I like the thing in the fog because it's creepy. It's a supernatural creature, right? We haven't had a lot of supernatural horror yet. There's been murder and carnage, and in New York there's zombies, but nobody's afraid of zombies.
Yep. You guys didn't open the pit, did they?
Like you run into zombies at Aldi. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. They're everywhere.
Zombies are everywhere. But this thing in the mist, I'm thinking of making a little more substantial. I'm also thinking of changing it a bit. I'm going to put it in a jar. I'm going to put it down in the secret room. And it's like this trap that maybe Gavigan stuck down there. If they're rooting around in the bookcase and they open the jar, boom, out comes the fog, which I'm hoping will lead to a chase sequence.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And at the same time, at the Blue Pyramid Club, 2 weeks ago, they caught one of the people that were following them and beat him up.
Okay.
But they couldn't speak Aramaic, or Arabic, excuse me, Arabic. So they couldn't question him.
Yep.
While the two investigators are having cocktails with Kinnery, I'm going to have that dude walk in
to
the Blue Pyramid, talk to the bartender, and then they're all going to point at the investigators and run to grab them, hoping to have a chase at the Blue Pyramid.
So that's good. I mean, that could happen, or it could be a brouhaha, right? They could
be captured. And as a good keeper, I've got contingencies for those things to happen.
Yep, for sure. You got to.
If they get captured, if they instead want to fight, my players are very good at running away.
Oh yeah, you've mentioned this. Yeah. So are you going to use the full chase sequence? Have you mapped it out?
Well, yes, but here we're going to see behind the scenes for a second. Because I work for Chaosium and I work for the company, I'm in the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen where all the different pots are cooking and simmering away.
You see how the sausage is made.
I see how the sausage is made, and I get to nibble on the sausage here and there. And there are some new chase rules floating around.
All right.
And I use those once to pretty positive responses with my pulp group. When I'm not playing Masks, the alternate Friday, I have a smaller pulp group that we're playing. So I'm going to try to use those to get feedback, but they're quick.
Yeah, good. Yeah, fantastic. That if I had any criticism about the chase rules, it was that they were good, but you had to be ready for them, right? You had to be ready for a chase because you needed the built-in, effectively, encounters in the chase. So if a chase just broke out, it might slow down the game, which is just the opposite of what you would want to happen during the chase.
That's a very good point. Yeah, you've got it, and I do have it mapped out. It's a much shorter kind of a thing. There's only like 3, 4, 5 different, zones to move through. but I do have that mapped out. In fact, look here, I have one floating here. Stand by. Stand
I'm
right
not
there,
going
Bob.
anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Now look, I've got my speed suit on. That means I'm ready for action. But look, for the pulp group, see, I did some original art here and I mapped it out.
Look at that.
Started
Look at
up
that,
here at the
ladies and
house,
gentlemen. Look at that. That is a Matt Ryan original there.
and they had
You
to
will
run
get
through the
nothing like
streets and
that from me.
dodge traffic to get on that trolley to get away. And they did, and
Amazing.
everybody, well, they were actually chasing somebody, but that doesn't matter. But because I was just thinking, because my group likes to run away, I ought to have some quick, efficient rules to adjudicate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I can't wait to hear how this goes. Right, my group is they're old school players. They've been playing with me for years,
Yeah,
and they don't run from much. Right, they stand and fight, right, a lot, or even initiate the fight more than I thought they would. Which some people could say that's murder, but again, that's such a harsh statement, right?
Crimes of the investigators. Yes, we an episode about crimes of the investigators
Yes,
would be good.
yes, there are many.
Very good.
So Matt, I wanted to bring up something.
Oh,
You
now
know,
is this something you mentioned in the show rundown?
this is not where I'm going off script here, but this is something that I feel that we owe to our subscribers. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we have eclipsed the grand mark of 100 subscribers. I haven't checked to make sure that we haven't fallen below, because some people could unsubscribe, which I could see. But
we're hanging strong at 101 when I looked this morning, when I tried to count how many episodes of these things we've done.
Well, 100's 100, and we did promise these 100 subscribers that we make a big announcement. Are we ready to make this big announcement?
I'll hold it up and you make the announcement.
Oh, here we go. Yes, 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 ladies and gentlemen.
That's right, folks.
Because you love this thing so much, and 100 of you at least.
101,
101 subscribers. Once we finish up with Masks, Matt and I are going to go through the two-headed serpent.
Now we're like 16 episodes in of a. How many episodes are there going to be to get through Masks?
I'm thinking 20. I could be wrong.
I think it's 4. I think it's 4 to 5 sessions a chapter. Let's say we get good, we trim the fat, we get down to 4. That means 2 months per chapter, Bob.
But we're here for the long haul, people. We're here for the long haul.
For better or for worse. It sounds like we're making vows. But look, two-headed serpent. So the reason we're doing two-headed serpent. Oh, I'm sorry. So again, one of the reasons I think is because there were many people that wanted to play with us, which could go to our heads, but it's just because we're willing to do the goddamn work. But anyways, we had a lot of people that wanted to play with us, and not everybody got in. I mean, that's just the size of my dining room, right?
It's a finite space.
And the same happened with Bob. There were people that wanted to play but they had either played Masks or just couldn't arrange the time. And one Bob's guys really wanted to play Two-Headed Serpent. And I have got a couple of friends who really wanted to play, but the schedules didn't work out. And I know that they would really like to play a pulp game.
Yep.
So we concocted this idea. Well, if we get 100 subscribers, which we really thought was a bigger goal than it turned out to be.
We should have just said our announcement was that we were going to hold our announcement for 500 subscribers, but that would be cheating.
We're never going to get 500 subscribers, Bob.
That would have been great. We can make a lot of promises about that.
Don't make me laugh. I'm just coming off a cold. I could blow a spleen. Don't make me laugh. 500 subscribers. Now that's just crazy talk.
That's right. That's never going to happen.
Although there is a big announcement for 150 subscribers. I don't know if Bob wants to share that.
I've forgotten, to be quite honest.
Oh, it's buried in the text. We have a long secret text list between the two of us. That's
you'll have to remind me of what we offered. All right.
And as life unfolds, the two players that I was going to run this for here in the winter, this is probably going to happen in the winter months, in September, are moving to Ireland for 2 years.
Oh, wow. So, they should get back just in time.
Oh, you're making that spleen ache. All right.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Look, we're 20 minutes in. So, folks, so here on in, this is like extra content, folks. This is more Ryan Geis than you paid for.
That's right. It's bonus content.
Bonus content, which again, I get you're not paying any money, but I guess you are sacrificing time. You could be watching crochet videos instead of watching us.
There's a lot of things you guys could be watching. You probably should. Bob,
do you now when you're especially at a battle, right? When you like in the Juju house, when there's zombies and there's Silas.
Yep.
Do you use miniatures and maps?
No, it's all theater of the mind.
Always.
Yep. I nothing that's going to slow it down.
Because I will use miniatures.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I may put the map down and like, where are you at, but not. But you have you can make your own little maps and things. I can't. Yeah, exactly. I can't do anything like that.
Something, and then I put miniatures on top of it. And the miniatures I like to use, I'm going to show the folks at home.
These are fantastic.
I like to use. These are from the Munchkin game from Steve Jackson Games, who is not a sponsor, by the way.
No.
And
I have little alligators or what?
There's zombies.
Okay. Fantastic.
Look, here's a little red one. Here's a little zombie. Here's a little zombie munchkin.
Okay. Yeah.
Figure. I also have lady munchkins.
See, that's fantastic. That's perfect.
And to complete the set, I'm very excited. I just got this in the mail. These are the chainsaw munchkins.
Nice.
Now I have a full set. If anybody knows about munchkin miniatures that I don't have, please drop a line in the comments. Make any comment you like, folks, where
That's right. We read the comments.
We do.
Sometimes they make us cry, but we read them.
We go through our mailbag. Maybe we've talked about the chase rules.
There was one thing I did want to mention about the chase rules. I write a lot of games, so I'm thinking about a game. It would be called Mad Mike Fricker Road, 4-hour game, one long chase sequence.
There are Mike Mason and Paul Fricker are our buddies, of course. In fact, I've shared, I was going to talk about this. I've shared a room with Paul Fricker.
He's still going through therapy. How's that going?
I don't know. Do British people have therapy? I don't know if they're so calm and collected. I don't know if they need therapy.
I don't know.
I will tell you some stories in person. I will tell you stories about rooming with Paul Fricker, but he's a wonderful lad. They all are. They're all good guys.
Indeed.
Of course, good guys. All right. So we talked about the chase rules. We talked about what we're planning. Do you have any advice for somebody who's running this for the first time, Bob?
I would say, but this obviously falls flat, that you should read the entire campaign.
That just wouldn't be my advice.
No, don't. Again, take it one chapter at a time. Don't get overwhelmed by the enormity of the campaign. Just have a good idea of how the flow, and then take it one step at a time.
Now look at this. I made my own prop.
What is that? Oh, a letter. Nice.
There's an info dump in the secret. I don't know why Sean and Andrew didn't do this one. There's an info dump in the basement of the Penhue Foundation, the secret basement, and there's a receipt, there's like a ledger, there's a business card, and then there's a letter from the warehouse company saying, "Hey, we moved the shit and we're waiting to put it on the boat." And there's no clue for that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I whipped up a quick letter that just pretty much says, "Hey, we moved the shit and we're waiting to put it on the boat." Hopefully, this will lead my group to the warehouses where the Ivory Wind is nearby.
Yep.
For what I'm hoping is some simple fisticuffs in which the players can outnumber the guards, easily overwhelm them.
Yep.
Go through the shipment that's waiting there and find the weird machinery that's going to Australia.
What about also in the factory? They can find it in the factory as well.
Well, remember, I want that. Well, I'm planting the seed because I want to close the chapter in the factory. That's where I want the big fight to be. That's where I want Gavigan to come out all with his dress and his scepters and
Yep.
you know. I'm hoping for that fight in the factory.
Okay.
We're outside of town. We can just go hog wild, shoot people, everything you want to do.
Indeed. I'm also planning for de-emphasizing the miser house or the miser house or whatever it is. And
I think it's
really
you roll the R,
miser house.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
getting them to the factory for the big finale.
We were about ready to close the show, and then we're back into it with bonus content. I just invited the investigators to the party. Hey, Gavigan just said, we're having a little soiree. You want to come on out and join us?
That's a novel approach.
And when they do, I'm running a lesser ceremony. I'm going to offer them dark cowls and masks. Look at this.
Do you have a dark cowl and a mask?
I've got it. No, look at this, baby. Look at this. I don't know where I came up with this. Because I'm old. Look at this.
Oh, nice.
I got a Lone Ranger bandit mask.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
And I've got a black bathrobe with a hood that I'm going to put on.
Oh, fantastic.
There will probably be shots of this on the Facebook, but I'm going to wear the mask.
Yep.
Have the bathrobe tomorrow night.
Sure. No, that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome.
And then I'm just going to have a lesser ceremony, and I'm going to let them join in. And the witness that Gavigan is going to summon are going to be more zombies. There's that 8 million undead or something.
Yeah. That's right.
And they're going to come up from the ground, and these are going to be even more horrific zombies. Now, I know that, like I said earlier, that zombies aren't really frightening, but I'm banking on that, right? I want to make the players overconfident. Oh, more zombies.
Yes. That's right.
And then the cultists are all going to start whacking each other with the clubs.
That will be quite the scene. Quite the scene.
And hopefully we'll get I don't know how much we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get to the warehouse and Mizir house unless I push it along.
Yeah, I'm planning on trying to fast track this as much as I can and still be fair.
And give them so that I'm not just yanking them along. Yeah.
Right.
Give them time, to give them agency. That's a word we like to use, agency.
It is. I have a tendency to be very, very stingy and with clues and things, and I'm gonna have to try to ratchet that back a little bit.
We could do an episode on that. Yeah, there's times when I feel reluctant to hand out the good stuff, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Give them the good stuff. Folks, we went super deep. It was a Hail Mary pass, and maybe we connected. Let us know in the notes. Bob, do you want to do the begging?
Yes, please. We know we're at 100. It seems like we're going overboard now, but please smash that subscribe button. Tell your friends, your neighbors, your postman to subscribe. Armchair Keeper, Arcane Secrets. There we go.
All right, let me turn this thing. Hang on. Let me find the